Hi, everyone. It's Mrs. Thomas. Happy Sunday morning to each of you, and I still miss all of you. I will never not miss you. So I can't wait to the next time I see you, whether it's on the sidewalk or in front of church or in church, but I can't wait to see you. I have a story today. The story in church that you'll hear today is about Jesus. One of the stories is about Jesus and how he decides to go find a quiet space, and he gets on a boat and he wants to just be on his own. And sometimes we all just want to be on our own to think about things. But God had a different idea for him. And when he got to where he was thinking he would find a quiet place, there were hundreds, thousands of people there gathered. They all wanted to hear him speak to them. So he spent time with them and he spoke with them, and all of a sudden it became really late. You know the way when sometimes you're distracted and you're doing things and you're interested in what you're doing, you don't realize how much time goes by. That even happens to Jesus. Can you believe it? So his disciples said, we have all these people here. You need to let them go. They need to go eat. And Jesus said, you know what? I think we've got this. And he had a loaf of bread and he had fish. And all of a sudden, he was able to make the fish and the bread multiply. And somehow he was able to feed those thousands of people. I don't know how he did it. Is it magic? Was it I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but he was able to feed everybody. And he was able to be with all of those people, even though in the beginning he thought he wanted to be alone. Sometimes things happen and we don't know why they happen. But this is an example that he ended up being okay with being with all the people and spending time talking to them and even sharing a meal with them. And sharing is really important. Sometimes we share with our words and sometimes we share food, and we like to be with people. And right now we're not able to be with lots of people. Everybody's family is making different decisions, and sometimes I know at our house we're having to change our decisions. But for instance, our oldest daughter Sarah, who each of you see at Christmas and Easter, it was her birthday this week and we weren't able to be with her. So she is coming today with her husband Alex, who you've seen at Christmas and Easter as well. And we're going to have picnic outside, and we're going to spread out picnic blankets, and we're going to have a meal outside. And we can't be right next to her. Usually we have big meals at our table, our dining room table. But right now we can't because of the coronavirus. But we're going to still celebrate together, and we're really excited to. So I am going to tell you a story called Harry by the Sea, and I don't think I've told it to you before. So I'm going to have a link for your parents for the story I told with Jesus sharing all of the food. And I'm going to read this story called Harry by the Sea. And I want you to think about what I talked about with Jesus being on his own, and think about what happens to Harry. These Harry books are some of our family's favorite books. And this is one of our favorites of the Harry book. Where do you think they're going? Got an umbrella. They're all going to the beach, right? Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything about the seashore except the hot sun. One day when the sun was hotter than ever, Harry looked for a shady place to sit. But when he tried to get under the family's beach umbrella, it was too crowded, and the family made him leave. How do you think Harry felt? How do you think you would feel? I would feel sad. When he crawled into the children's sandcastle, look at that cool sandcastle they're making. The wolves fell in and the children chased him away. That's even sadder. When he walked in the shade of a big lady, she became angry and made him stop following her. "Get lost," she said. She was very annoyed. Good thing Jesus didn't say that to all the people who wanted to be with him, huh? The sun was very hot, and Harry had walked a long way from the main beach. He was tired, so he sat down at the water's edge. All of a sudden, a big wave came from behind and crashed right on top of him. I don't like when that happens. I dive under the waves. Is that what you try to do? Dive under the waves so you don't get hit with them? When the wave rolled back, Harry was left floating in the water. He was completely covered with seaweed. He didn't look like a dog anymore. He looked like something from the bottom of the sea. Suddenly, a lady saw him floating toward her. "Help! Help!" she shrieked. "It's a sea monster!" The lifeguard heard her and blew his whistle. "Everybody out!" he shouted. "Everybody out!" I would be confused when I saw it. I'd be scared too, I think. Everyone ran out of the water, and so did Harry. He was still covered with cold, wet seaweed. It made him feel cool and comfortable, and now he didn't mind the sun at all. He felt so good, he started running back to his family. That's what animals in the ocean do. They hide under the seaweed so that they're nice and cool and protected, don't they? On his way, some people saw him. "It's a sea serpent," one of them screamed. "It's a giant sandworm," shrieked another. Harry had water in his ears and could hardly hear them. He kept on running toward the main beach. The water in his ears is making it hard to hear, right? When he got there, Harry stopped and stared. Instead of just his family's umbrella, now there were hundreds of them. They were all striped, just like his family's. Harry couldn't tell one umbrella from another. Oh no, they all looked the same, right? Suddenly, 2 beach attendants saw him. "Holy smoke!" one of them gasped. "What's that?" "It's a bushy-backed sea slug," exclaimed the other. They whispered for a moment. Then they ran. Harry went from umbrella to umbrella, but he couldn't find his family. Everyone wore sun hats and sunglasses, and everyone used suntan oil, just like his family. Harry looked and sniffed very hard, but it was no use. He couldn't tell one family from another. Suddenly, the 2 beach attendants came running back, carrying a big trash basket. They ran toward Harry. "Stand back!" one of them said to the crowd. "We're going to catch it and take it to the aquarium," said the other. Then they tiptoed right up behind Harry and raised the trash basket over his head. Harry didn't know the beach attendants were behind him. He was listening to something else. He thought he heard someone calling his name. There it was again. "Harry! Harry! Harry!" Now Harry was sure. He didn't wait another second. Just as the basket came down, he ran. He ran right out from under the basket. It happened so fast, The beach attendants just stood there with their mouths open. As he raced through the crowd, some people screamed, some people ran, and some people did both. But Harry paid no attention. He kept on running across the beach. When he got to the hot dog stand, he stopped and barked happily. Behind the counter, the hot dog man was shouting. But it was his voice. It was his voice that Harry had heard, but Harry had not had water in his ears and couldn't hear very well. The man wasn't shouting, "Harry, Harry, Harry." He was shouting, "Hurry, hurry, hurry, get 'em while they're hot." Harry still thought the man was calling his name. He barked and jumped with joy. He jumped so much that suddenly the seaweed all fell off. When the crowd saw that Harry was a dog, they gasped. They could hardly believe their eyes. All at once, Harry began to jump higher than ever. He saw the children. They were running toward him. "Oh, Harry," they cried, "we heard you bark. We've been looking all over for you." Harry was so happy, he did a little dance. I should show you the dances that our dog Clover does. I think they're the same kind. The hot dog man was very grateful to Harry for bringing the crowd to his stand. He sold all the hot dogs he had. He gave Harry a free hamburger. The lady who had told Harry to get lost came along and bought him a cold drink. "You're no sea monster," she said. "You're just a lost hot dog." Everyone laughed except the two children. "He's not lost." Look, that word is underlined. "He's not lost," one of them said. "He's Harry, and he's ours." Then they hurried off to join the rest of the family. They look upset with the lady. But she didn't know, did she? The next time Harry's family went to the beach, they brought a new umbrella. Harry liked this one very much. It was white with black spots. No matter how crowded the beach became, it was easy to find. But best of all, it was big, and when the sun got very hot, there was room underneath for them all. So I love that story, Harry by the Sea by Jean Zion, and the pictures are by Margaret Bloy Graham. And you know, I'm thinking that the story is connected to the story of Jesus, because even though Jesus looks the same, he's not the same as everyone else in the crowd, and they all can find him. And he's special, right? And Harry can't find his family because they all are under, all the people on the beach are under the striped umbrellas, right? But they aren't the same, are they? His family is very special to him, and he is very special to his family. And the next time they get an umbrella that's white with black spots, so it looks different. It's the same, it's an umbrella like everybody else's, but it's different so that Harry can always find them, right? So that is one way of looking at Jesus. He looks the same, but he really isn't, right? And so that is the story. And even part of the story, remember Harry, the hot dog man is so excited about all the attention and all the people that come to the hot dog stand because of Harry, that he shares hot dogs with Harry, right? And the woman who is upset with him initially buys him a drink. And so they all share food and they're together, right? So lots of connections, I feel like, even though it's a totally different story. So I was thinking, as an activity that you might be interested in, somehow making an umbrella, I thought. And here's a skewer. It's a wood skewer I talk about using chopsticks or sticks that you find outside. And I thought that you could cut a piece of paper. This is just an envelope that was in the recycling. And you could cut it and make it like an umbrella, right? You could trace. Where's a circle? Oh, I have lots of things here, don't I? So here's a bird's nest with a feather that I was looking at the other day and thinking about a story. So you could trace, see it's on a plate, and the plate is round. So you could trace the plate and you could make it round, the umbrella, because even though the umbrella has little bits and pieces cut out from it, you know, the way I always talked about, nothing has to be perfect, right? So you could make an umbrella, right? And you could poke a hole through this. And you can make an umbrella like that. See? I just cut out a circle and I poked a hole in it. You could make it fancier if you wanted and bend it like an umbrella is. See that center point where that hole is? You could bend it and fold it. This could be a fraction lesson too, right? Looks like a pizza now, right? Pizza slice. Opening it up. There's 8 sections. And maybe that looks more like an umbrella, right? Because it's bent a little bit. So you can make a scene on and make your own little beach scene of an umbrella with a dog. Make it however you want. And I know all of you are incredibly creative and make things. Another thing that I was thinking you could make was, remember Jesus took his boat and he tried to find a quiet place and he ended up with, trying to get it in the middle. It's not working out so well. Me and my glasses, right? So you could cut a sail like that, right? And here again is a skewer. You could either make a hole with a skewer or just poke a pencil through it, put a pencil, and look, does that look like a sail? And you could make a boat, right? Fold a piece of paper and then make a boat and see if it actually works, or find a box, tape it to the box. So there's so many things that you could do. And what I'd like to hear about and see is, I bet everybody's going to have breakfast together or lunch together and think about all the things that you talk about and see and do. And one last thing, I know I'm going on a little bit, I'm sorry about that, but today SpaceX went up in the air, remember, several weeks ago, and now it's splashing down at 2:42 in the afternoon. So there's another example. SpaceX went into the atmosphere and it joined up with the space station, and then it left the space station yesterday, I think at about 5:30 in the evening, and it's coming back down I think it's called Dragon. It's a little space ship, and it's going to splash down in the Gulf of Mexico at 2:42, and they're coming back down to Earth. So they went away, and now they're coming back. How cool is that? So all these examples of being together. And you may hear that I'm not going to be teaching Sunday school every week from now on because I have a new job. But I love you all, and it doesn't mean that I'm going anywhere. I'm going to be right here at St. David's with all of you and seeing all of you and being with all of you. And I hope that you will come sit next to me in the pews like you do when we go up to church, because I love, love, love being with all of you, and I'll still teach some of you when, on occasion, and see you. Lots of love. Bye. I'll see you soon, soon, soon.